Hello and welcome. I'm Daniel.
And I'm Andrew. And we're brothers. And this is the Daniel and Andrew Show,
where we give our opinions about movies and TV and movies about blue hedgehogs that we've been watching lately. So, Andrew, how you doing today?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm doing all right. Just got back from a good old trip. Went to Vegas. We really didn't do that much. Saw one show, hung out, stayed at the Mandalay Bay, liked that place. Me and you stayed there before, liked it, went back, was good. It was definitely the busiest I've seen in a long time because we went right after New Year's, so people were still in town. People were still in town from because New Year's Day was on Wednesday, so still quite a bit. I tried to do the old get it upgrade thing, and they were like, we're at like 98 capacity, so we can't nothing. He's like, I'll try to get you a high floor and a nice view, but it's just like pretty much nothing, especially because we wanted two beds, and they were like, we have kings. We can give you a nice king. It's like, no, I'm not gonna sleep in the same bed with dad. So unfortunately, there wasn't anywhere to sit. There just got the good old basic room. Had a nice view of the pool and the airport, though, and we were along. It was like 62 floors. We were on the 58th floor, so we were pretty high in there. You go to the elevators that have where it just like skips like a bunch of floors. It just goes straight up to the top. That was the ones that the elevators we went up. But we liked it. Saw the Michael Jackson Cirque du Soleil show, which is a good show. Which
So
me
that's
and you
all you guys did? Was
we
just see the
saw.
show?
We saw the show. I gambled. He hung out in the hotel room. He didn't want to do anything. He wanted to chill. He wanted to relax. It was just seemed like he was just doing what he does at home, just in a different locale. But to each his own. I mean, I made some money, and he sat and hung out and watched old movies that he's seen before. So, I mean, that's what he wants to do. That's what he wants to do. So,
yeah.
Yeah, we did some horse race betting. And Dad always picked the long shot. And the last one race that we were doing, he bet on a long shot horse, and he won like $30. So we made like pretty much all the money back that we had lost because we weren't making that much money from betting long shot horses. So, and then I gambled, and I made a couple $100. So I felt pretty good. I've been on quite the winning streak. I've come back with more money than I left with the last 3 times. So I'm feeling pretty good. So yeah, we're doing good. And that's my 5th trip in the last year to Vegas. So cool. Did you guys do anything fun?
No, not really. Just we start going back to the gym.
Nice.
And that we've been doing that for a bit now. So yeah.
Yeah.
Just on a routine. Yeah. Nothing special. No one's really here or anything. So
yeah. It was definitely a quiet holiday, but we are in a brand new year here, 2025. So got new fresh stuff coming up. And the honestly, the holiday, the Christmas, movies over Christmas, I don't think there was anything particularly fantastic. I think the best movie that came out in December, like at least, the main movies, will be the one we're going to talk about today. I thought it was all pretty weak. I mean, the Bob Dylan biopic was boring. we're gonna talk about Mufasa next week, but I thought this Sonic was better than that, and I wasn't gonna see a baby girl with Nicole Kidman or Nosferatu. I wasn't interested in. So I think last year's like movies you could see over Christmas were much better. I mean, could watch The Iron Claw, The Boys in the Boat, Color Purple, uh, even that Anyone But You. I never saw that movie, but I thought I heard that movie was good. Like there was just better options. I thought it was just super super weak. It wasn't like, oh, I got 10 movies to watch for you know when
I don't know.
people are on
All of
break.
the things you mentioned from last year don't sound interesting at all either.
But
So,
they're better than the one I at least slightly more interesting. I can tell you that the quality I felt was better. Those movies were
yeah,
better than
I guess.
I mean, that maybe
Which
that's
one
just
was
me.
Anyone But You? Was that
That's
the?
the romantic comedy with Glenn Powell and Sydney Sweeney.
Yeah, I actually saw that one not over Christmas, but I watched it on something streaming. I actually thought it
Yeah,
was pretty funny.
yeah.
So
Well, I'm just saying like Craven, Lord of the Rings. There's nothing like that really. It was weak. I mean, a studio could have killed. One of the major studios could have killed with something. I mean, Wicked was doing just as good as like any of the movies, and that had come out over a month prior. So,
yeah,
um, I mean, the 2024 box office obviously is coming to a close. Um, Wicked could beat Dune. Um, we'll see how that goes. It hasn't opened in Japan yet, which is a good market for it. Um, our top five box office for 2024. First, number one is Inside Out 2, which was a surprise. No one really thought that was happening. Number two is Deadpool and Wolverine. Number three is Despicable Me. And then Moana is fourth right now, but it's probably going to beat Despicable Me, maybe get to a billion. And then you have Despicable Me. And then the fifth one is either going to be Wicked or Dune. And that's your top five for 2024 box office. Um, so I mean, there was Mufasa's doing fine, but it's not, blowing the doors off the place, and especially coming off of the live action, quote unquote, live action remake, which made like 1.4 billion. Isn't that's that that prequel is not doing that great. So I mean, there's usually for December movie that really pops off, but there's no Avatar, there's no Star Wars. It's not even a superhero movie that did well. It's not even an Aquaman. There's Aquaman last year. There's not even something like that. Craven, no. The end of the year was just weaker. But Thanksgiving
I
did well.
mean, I thought most of this year was pretty weak, but yeah,
I thought it was a weak year. I agree. Um, I mean, I'm trying to think of movies this year. Like, I mean, I liked Deadpool and Wolverine. I liked Wicked. Um, but those most of the big movies are going to be probably in my top 10, but um I mean there wasn't as many movies this year that I was like enthusiastic about. I mean, I think the year before was better, but I feel like the middle range movies and lower range movies were worse this year than last year. um or I guess the year prior, because we're in a new year now. um so with that being said, for this year, we're now in 2025. You got any movies that you're looking forward to? Your anticipated movies of the year?
I mean, to be honest, I'm not super anticipating anything,
Mm-hmm.
but the first thing when you asked was Mission Impossible,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely interested in Mission Impossible. I liked the last one a lot. Um, was that number one that year? I can't remember. Um, I think so. I mean, it was yours, right? I'm pretty sure it was your number one
It
of that.
either was that or John Wick, so.
I think it was your number one. Mine was the holdovers, but I mean, collectively, it was number one between the two of us. So,
Mhm.
yeah, I'm definitely interested in Mission Impossible for sure. Um, and I mean, I was like, I enjoyed those movies, but I mean, everyone has been good since the more modern ones, um, which was four, I think. Was that Ghost Protocol?
Yeah,
Uh,
I mean, I know what to expect from this next one, so.
yeah, and it's called the Final Reckoning, but it was Dead Reckoning Part Two. It's a Part Two. It's definitely it's right after the. I don't know if they did any retooling or anything after the first one didn't do as well as they wanted it to, or the first part.
Mm.
Um, but that's because it came out the week after Barbie and Oppenheimer, or the week before Barbie and
No, yeah, it was the
Oppenheimer.
week before, yeah.
So it just got crushed. Um, so I think that's why it didn't do as well. I don't think it was because the quality of the movie was bad. Um, but I'm definitely interested in that movie and definitely, excited to see it. And I will definitely be there to see it, you know, probably the first night, you know, so, um, um, I think I'm definitely curious about the Marvel movies this year. We got Captain America, Thunderbolts, and Fantastic Four. The one I have my eyebrow is raised towards the most is probably the Thunderbolts, just because um, I think it could be like a Guardians. To be honest with you, like it could be like a secretly like just a good movie because like the trailers are actually like kind of funny and um I mean, the director is like a really small director. He's made like little things. So, I mean, and James Gunn was that. He's like, didn't really make anything that big. And then he made that movie, and that movie was just like a secret hit movie. That first Guardians made like $800 million, and nobody knew about the Guardians before that.
Yeah,
And there's no real
I
big
will say
stars in
I'm
that.
more interested in that one over Brave New World, so
Yeah, well,
something.
a Fantastic Four, I'm curious about, but there's a lot of variables in that, which is, I mean, they've tried it two times already. Um, your main four, I'm not sold on. I mean, I like the guy from the Bear, but he's the Thing, and most of the time, you're not even going to see him. He's going to be wearing an outfit or whatever.
My opinion is I'm tired of Pedro Pascal being in everything.
I like
So
Pedro Pascal, so that doesn't bother me, but I don't see Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm, and uh, Joseph Quinn is fine.
I expect her to actually do something. I don't expect any. Pedro Pascal acts the same in every movie, so I'm not.
Okay, I don't know if that's a true. I don't know if that's true.
It it is, but we'll see if he does something different here.
So you're telling me him in Game of Thrones, him in that movie where it's about Nicolas Cage playing himself, and him in Gladiator 2 are all the same?
I have not seen the Nicolas Cage one, so I can't attest to
Okay.
that one. What was the other one? The last
Uh,
one you did?
Gladiator 2.
Gladiator. Oh, that movie was just bad. I will say they are different characters, but for the worst.
Mandalorian.
Game of Thrones is like his best role. A Mandalorian, anyone can do that.
Okay, cool. All right. So the answer is Daniel, you're right, but I'm just gonna pretend that you're not. Anyone could do that. It doesn't mean he's the same. He's not the same. You're just a weenie.
He's not the same, I guess.
I'm curious. I'm just curious about Fantastic Four because I don't know. They're never really like that high on my list or about being interesting. Like, but they've also just not been done well. So to be fair, the only way to go is up. I think if they make a worse Fantastic Four movie, I don't think it can be done. If it's worse than what's
Yeah,
come before, um, you know. So,
yeah.
um, you're not interested in Michael?
No.
No. Well, I just saw the show about with his music. It was a good show. I mean,
Yeah, the
you
show's
like
good, but that's
you
not
like
what's gonna be in the movie.
you
So
like the movie. You like the music at least. Well,
I mean, I didn't watch the Queen one. I like the Queen
oh
music,
yeah, the Queen
but
one's Bohemian Rhapsody's good. Rocket Man is good.
it's just
Um,
I find the type of movie boring.
yeah,
I don't care about the backstory.
yeah. Okay, well I can see that. Um, I mean, yeah, Wicked 2 comes out. Definitely will be watching that. Um, let's see. Is there anything interesting? Freakier Friday?
No, that's not interesting. I was
No.
gonna say I'd be interested in the next Avatar. That's the other one I'm interested in.
Yeah. Avatar. How to Train Your Dragon. Superman? Anything?
The trailer has me, I guess, interested, but I don't know.
Did
I
you ever
have my
see
doubts.
yeah, did you ever see Zootopia?
Yeah, I think so. I mean,
Second
I don't care for it, but yeah, there's a second one. Yeah,
Minecraft.
no,
Let's see what else we got. Predator Badlands, the guy who made Prey. He's doing another Predator movie. Um Mortal Kombat 2 with Carl Urban as Johnny Cage. Um
that'll
no
be fun.
yeah, Nobody 2.
Is it? It's like a sequel, right, of the last Mortal
Yeah.
Kombat?
Yeah, the tease at the end of the last Mortal Kombat was they're like they show a poster or whatever and it was like a movie with Johnny Cage in it or whatever.
Yeah, the main character of that is lame.
No, he was
That's
lame. Yeah, top build in on for the second one it shows Carl Urban. So I think that guy had his little story. He's taking a back seat. I'm pretty positive
I certainly hope so,
because
because
that
that would
guy
make
was
it a lot
not.
better.
Yeah, he was not well received in that role. So yeah, they probably not won't be the savior of them all there. Um, the best part of that movie was Hiroyuki Sanada as Scorpion. Um, so,
Yeah,
but
pretty
I mean,
much.
he's good. So, uh, lots of horror sequels. Conjuring, Insidious, Megan 2, Five Nights at Freddy's 2, Saw 11, I Know What You Did Last Summer reboot. There's like a whole bunch of just
So,
sequel.
yeah,
Final Destination 6. We're doing another one of those. Um, yeah.
Snow White remaster,
Yeah, Snow White.
live action.
Snow White, Lilo and Stitch.
Well, we'll have a lot of stuff to cover. That's for
how,
sure.
how to Train Your Dragon live action.
Hmm.
Um,
Man, I do like that movie, but
yeah,
people will have to say it's good before I go see that one, or unless we're reviewing it.
yeah, um, yeah. I'm looking forward to some of those movies. Any of
The
those movies?
Accountant.
The Accountant. Yeah, The
Yeah, that
Accountant.
would be like my third most anticipated.
I'm
And
kind of
then probably Nobody.
I'm kind of interested in that Love Hurts movie, Kei Kwan movie, where it's just an action movie, like all
Uh,
the other ones.
the Valentine's thing, though.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no, that looked pretty average at best.
I mean, that's just one of those where he's
Yeah, just go and get some popcorn, enjoy the movie.
yeah. I mean,
Don't think
that
about it too much.
like a nobody or whatever. It's basically the same kind of premise. Just him.
No, nobody was more serious. This literally looks just goofy.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we'll check it out. You seeing any movies? Big box office here. Big $1 billion pictures here.
Um, honestly, if Minecraft's even a little bit good like Mario, I could see that taking off.
I feel similar. Actually. Um, well, there's a. I didn't even say it because I know you're not really that interested, and I'm not like super bumped about it. But Jurassic World, there's another Jurassic World coming out. I mean, the last one I'm pretty sure made that much. I
Yeah,
think Zootopia 2 can make a lot of money. I think Wicked did very well. And people liked it, and they might see the second one. It might do
yeah.
better.
I mean, I think it did better since it's had nothing to compete against. So
Yeah.
that
Well,
helped.
it's coming out in the same exact spot as it did this year, like exactly the same spot, and um, got I think something like I think it's like exactly like it was like some the whatever Disney's animated thing is right after it. I'm pretty sure. Like the weekend is exactly the same, if I can remember correctly. So, but I mean, we'll see. I think that could do pretty well. Maybe not 1 billion, but I could see that doing better than it did this time. Um, yeah, it's Wicked and then Zootopia 2. Yeah, they're back to back, just like it was this year, but with Moana. Uh, I think How to Train Your Dragon could do a lot. Superman, if it's good, could make a lot of money. Maybe one of the Marvel movies. Obviously, we know Avatar is going to make a lot of money.
Yeah,
Mission Impossible could make a lot of money if nothing kills it the next week. So,
true. They
um,
going for
I mean,
another summer release? No.
yes, I believe it's another, kind of June, July action. Let's
Okay.
see. Uh, boop, boop, boop. Dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. Bum, 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 ba-dum, bum, bum. Where? May 23rd. May
That's
23rd coming out
early.
the same day as Lilo and Stitch live action.
Okay then.
Um, and then the week after is the Karate Kid reboot sequel thing.
Seems like a lot of competition to not need to release by.
I I don't think the Venn diagram of Lilo and Stitch and Mission Impossible is quite the same, but
Not that. Karate Kid, I would say.
yeah, I guess that's true. That's a
I'd
good
say more
point.
of a family movie, but it's still the same. People seeing the same thing.
Yeah, I think it, I I'm not seeing a lot of like a big trouble there, but
Yeah.
who knows? Maybe Karate Kid will just be a spectacular film and just crush it. But we'll see. Um,
You don't think they'll be competing for the bigger screens between Lilo and Stitch and Mission Impossible?
oh, that's one of those things where they play Lilo and Stitch during the day, and they play Mission Impossible at night because bring the kids during the day, and then the adults go at night.
Gotcha.
Or it could be like they have the IMAX and they have the Dolby, things like that, kind of split.
You're still splitting your screens. You can make a lot more money if you get them all to yourself.
That's true. That's true. I mean, they did it, and I mean, Moana made like $900 million, and it didn't have the screens. There's Gladiator 2 and Wicked, and friggin' Interstellar took IMAX screens. So like, you
That's
know,
not the same. Kids' movies aren't the same. Nobody cares if it's in the big screen. They're just going to go see it. People want to see Mission Impossible in the big screen
I
and will
see.
go see
Okay,
something
okay,
else
okay.
in the big screen.
I would think that Mission Impossible would get the big screens, and like Lilo and Stitch would get not the big screens, is what I would think. But
Okay. Can only hope.
yeah, I mean, I'm gonna see it probably early, quick, as soon as I could. So probably won't be that
Yeah.
big of a deal for me. I'll probably gonna see it in the big screen. But yeah,
I'll probably use some free tickets on it or something.
yeah, yeah. We'll see. All right. Well, we got stuff to look forward to for the year. I for, I mean, I forgot to say the only thing that I watched was watched Hateful Eight in the hotel because it was in, on the TV. So I watched that. Pretty good movie. Still like that movie. Um,
It's a good one. Yeah.
that was fun to watch in the theater, and there was like an intermission and everything. I remember when that movie came out. If you saw it early, they gave you like a little like packet, not a packet, but it was like a glossy booklet or whatever with stuff about the movie and stuff. He did the same thing for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood as well. It's kind of fun, but the one for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood looked like an old magazine, like a 70s 60s magazine. It was kind of fun. Yeah, I like Hateful Eight. That's a good movie. Lots of good people in that one. So, and then yeah, we only got one trailer to talk about. Very short train here. We're going to talk about Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, which is that animated Marvel show. It's not connected to the MCU, or is, not sure. Uh, Daredevil and Kingpin, voiced by their people who do it live action currently. Vincent D'Onofrio and Charlie Cox will be in there somewhere. So I
It's
don't.
not like they do anything else. So yeah.
I guess just they're just the voice of it. I guess they're always a Daredevil or Kingpin in any universe. I guess because I don't think it's not the one for the movies. I don't think so.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a young, new, up and start Spider-Man here with his homemade suit or whatever.
I mean, looks super kiddie. I'm not interested in the slightest. Hopefully, the kids that have Disney Plus enjoy it.
Yeah, the only thing I liked about it is they used that old Spider-Man theme, but then they made it like rap. So, you know,
I didn't even notice.
oh, I mean, they run Spider-Man, Spider-Man. It's like kind of hard to miss there, but
I mean, I wasn't super analyzing the trailer. I played it on my phone and I kind of tuned it out, to be honest. So,
yeah, I can understand why you might have that feeling. Yes. Um. Yeah. Well, we'll see how that does. Yeah, I don't have much to say about it either, to be honest with you. It looked did look like for kids, but I mean, there's been a lot of animated Spider-Man TV shows for kids. So, I mean, but this one's just made by the actual movie, or not movie company, I guess. I don't know. Whatever. By
yeah,
them,
I guess. I
the
feel like
mainline.
Maybe cartoons have just become so stale now or something. I don't know. I feel like they used to be darker. I don't
I
know.
I don't know. I mean, I think I liked X-Men 97. I thought it was pretty decent, but um
I almost felt like that wasn't even marketed towards kids, though. You know what I mean?
no, I mean it was marketed mostly for the people that liked the show from the 90s. So
That's what I'm saying.
well, then
Like
those people aren't kids.
that show is
They're
more made for like
yeah.
teenagers and adults, where this one is marketed just only towards kids, and that's it.
Yeah, probably. I mean, there's a lot of people that have kids for Disney Plus. So,
Yeah,
I mean, it doesn't bother me, but of course, that's not going to be my first watch or anything. There's a Star Wars show that's geared towards kids that neither of us are watching. That's going right now, which is the Skeleton Crew. So, I mean, not
I
everything is
haven't
for
heard
me.
anything about it.
Yeah, I heard it's pretty good, and Jude Law's the one of the the star basically of the show. That's about all I got. So,
Yep.
but I mean, there's not everything has to be for me, and that's okay. Yeah, it was just a pretty slow week, so that was the only trailer that I could find. Um, the only other thing that I watched this was before we watched Sonic 3. I had never seen Sonic 2. So I went and watched that. And I will have to say that one was not as good. Um, I'm
Yeah,
glad I didn't see that in the theater. And I watched it at home for free because it was okay. The first one was definitely better. Um,
that movie had way too much of that. Her sister or whatever. Like,
yeah,
why were they even in the
the
movie?
wedding. Yep.
They were
Yeah.
easily the worst part of this movie,
I
and
mean, they weren't.
yeah, they just ruined the other movie for sure for me. They were in it for 2 seconds, and that what 2 seconds was the worst part of the movie.
Oh no, that's stupid. And there wasn't even them. It was them being them. They were fine.
But I
It's
mean, it was them, but it was
yeah.
stupid.
I thought it was funny. I mean, for some reason, this third one, Sonic the Hedgehog 3, for some reason just worked. It made me feel like the first one. It was like I was like, wow, this is a good movie. I they listened to probably feedback from the second one and cut most of that crap out and kind of just did continue to do what works. You not only because people like Jim Carrey, not only do they have Jim Carrey, they have Jim Carrey doing two roles. So they just double dosed him. Um, and I thought he was good as both. Um, I liked Sonic. I liked Keanu Reeves' Shadow and Knuckles and Tails. And I thought the movie was pretty funny. I actually genuinely laughed at this movie. I thought the movie was pretty funny. And I thought the action was good, way less goofy than the second one. Even though this movie was still, it was like the right. They did the right amount. I think Ben Schwartz does a good job voicing Sonic. Um, I think it's good to have a comedian. He's probably ad libbing and improving and stuff. I'm sure he's there just letting him do whatever. Um, I will say the second one introduced Knuckles, and I like Idris Elba as Knuckles. I think he's funny. That was the good part of the second one. And I I do like Knuckles as a character. Um, and it's not just because he's red. Um, you know, Tails is fine. Um, yeah, I mean, I thought this movie was better in pretty much every way than the last one. Um,
I don't remember if I even gave the last one a rating, but that one was like a 5, man. That
yeah,
one was
yeah, yeah. I got kind of bored. Kind of is pretty long too. Like it was like over 2 hours. Like they made it like longer, and I was getting a little, little woozy, a little sleepy. But I was also
Mm-hmm.
sitting in a nice chair when I was watching it. So, um, yeah, yeah, was it? Yeah. All right. So this third one, yeah, it's just better. What do you think about this one?
I mean, this was infinitely better. I think this is actually the best one. I'm struggling to remember the first Sonic that great, but I
It's just
think this one's
basically
better.
him being like his, his mentor or whatever, and I mean that's
Yeah,
it kind of obviously it introduced him and it introduced Jim Carrey's Robotnik character and stuff. It was just pretty straightforward. He wants to take over and
yeah,
wants power and stuff. Um,
yeah. I'll say the dad character. They just need to remove him entirely as well. They're just trying to find ways to get him in the movie now. Just you know,
yeah, James Marston.
Sonic's grown up now or something. You know what I mean? Like he he's boring. Anytime they were on screen in this movie, I was like rolling my eyes. This is dumb.
Um,
Um,
I think I kind of just would disagree with you on that. I mean, I like him. I think the characters are fine. Um, Now I can see you being like, yeah, the just her sister, or whatever, yeah, or the other cop or whatever, Buddy Wayne or whatever. Like, this is Wade, whatever the heck his name
oh
is.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
This if
those.
there's any human other than Jim Carrey in this movie, it detracts from the movie.
You don't like that one general guy who's the general in all his movies. He's just like goofy all the time. Um, the
General guy.
Yeah, he's the general guy, and in this one they show him when he's young with Shadow or whatever, and he like literally does
I
the
mean,
voiceover.
he was just there for like plot, right? He wasn't
And
really.
Kristen Ritter, Jessica Jones, there, she's like the
Yeah.
director or something.
Who just disappears at the end of the movie. She's just like, here's the key, and then is gone for the rest of the movie.
Yeah, yeah. Well, dispatched. Yeah,
Even they knew they got too many human characters. They got it. I'm sure they cut her. There's no way she didn't have anything else.
yeah, probably. Yeah. I was just like, who is that? I was like, she looks familiar. I don't know. She looks different. I don't know what. I can't put my. I don't know what.
She's in Breaking Bad in like the
No, no, no,
best
no, no,
season.
no. No, I know she's in Breaking Bad. I know who she is. She's Jessica Jones. She's in that one comedy, the V and
Hmm.
23 or whatever. I know who that is. And she just looked different in this movie. Like I was like, who is that? And then it took me a second. I was like, oh, that's that one lady. Yeah,
I
she's
get.
in Breaking Bad. I know you do like her, so she's I
Yeah, but
mean,
she was not even really in the movie that much.
yeah. Um yeah. Um anyway. Um what was I gonna say? Uh oh, Shadow. I was gonna talk about Shadow. Um well, you know what? We could let's give our ratings and then talk about some, because I just want to talk about like the plot points of the characters and stuff like that. So
I
um
would give this movie like an 8 or a 9. By far the best Sonic. That's how you do a kids movie. You make it give it jokes to the adults and the kids. It was funny the entire time. Um, Drew Carey is great. Or
Drew
not
Carey.
Drew Carey, Jim Carey.
I didn't know we were watching The
Jim
Price is
Carey.
Right. Whose line is it
Jim
anyway?
Carrey was great.
Mm-hmm.
Keanu was great.
Yeah.
Um, and who I don't remember who you said was playing Sonic, but Sonic was good too.
Ben Schwartz is Sonic. Idris Elba's Knuckles. Um,
Yeah,
there's people I
so I
like.
do kids movie. I
And
gotta give it props. I enjoyed it.
I'm gonna give it a 7.5, and I agree. I think it is the best one. I would say the first one's like a 7, and yeah, the second one's like a 5. I just thought the second one was pretty generic. I liked this movie. Yeah. Now, so we're gonna get into spoilers here. So I thought Shadow's backstory was interesting. I liked it. I thought it was done pretty well. And it was just like a like a friendship with him and the granddaughter of the general that you don't remember, and or not. I guess he was the general's there with the granddaughter of Robotnik.
Yeah,
So wouldn't that be Jim Carrey's sister? Scary, right? Because it's supposed to be Robotnik's granddaughter.
I don't know. Was it supposed to be?
That would
I
be his
don't.
sister, or I guess his
I
cousin,
was honestly confused why
second cousin.
Robotnik's grandfather was even interested in that character. I really have no idea.
Yeah, but I liked the story. I thought the story was good, and I liked their little like montage and stuff. And I mean, you know, that love and death is a pretty strong motivator. Um, I mean, he's basically John Wick. Um, eh, I
Yeah,
guess
would have been. It would have been better if she was a dog. I agree. Yeah.
it wasn't his wife. It would or whatever. It was a you know
No, that's the first one. John Wick. It was they killed his
It's a
dog.
dog. It's not a
Yeah,
dog. It's
they should have done
his
that.
friend or whatever.
Would have been
But I
better.
liked it. I thought they did a good job with that, and it made sense. And I thought Shadow was cool. The opening was very Nightcrawler in X-Men 2 opening. um, and for some reason, you had the one of the guys from the Lonely Island. The guy in Hot Rod was the guard taking a look there. He was like the surveillance guy on that
Honestly,
road.
I missed the first bit of the movie. So did I miss something good?
The opening of the movie, you missed that where Shadow's in like containment or whatever.
Okay, then yeah, I missed that whole thing. When I walked in, they were like briefing Sonic's team on something, and on like going to get Shadow.
Oh,
So yeah,
you
I
missed
missed
a
all
lot.
that.
You missed a lot.
So I saw it on New Year's. It was super packed, and I wanted a drink, so I had to wait in line, and I got there late.
No.
So
Yeah, you were late. You were late. That is for sure.
okay.
Because there's a whole opening with Sonic, or not Sonic, with Shadow, where he breaks out of containment,
Hmm.
and you don't even get my joke now. Okay, so he breaks out of containment and he can teleport, right? And he's like
Yeah.
kicking people in the face and stuff. It was like Nightcrawler in the beginning of X-Men too. He's
Okay.
just like
I mean, I
teleporting.
figured. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. And then yeah, the guy who's like the guy who's the surveillance guy. He's in the Lonely Island. He's the brother in Hot Rod, the one who goes cool beans.
And that's in the beginning.
That's in the beginning. That's literally the
Okay,
opening of
so
the
I
movie.
did miss him. Okay,
Yeah, you
that's what I
missed
was
him.
confused about. I thought you were talking about some other part in the movie. I was like,
They
what?
have that, and then it says Sonic the Hedgehog 3, and then it goes into the thing where Sonic is racing Knuckles and Tails.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I didn't
And
see that
so
either.
and then they come back to that at the end of the movie. So you didn't even get why that's like first thing.
Yeah, I
um
didn't think there was the shadow thing, but I figured I missed something at the beginning what they were doing before this all happened. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, you missed at least a couple scenes there. Yeah, he goes really fast and everything. So
Hmm.
and yeah, they have like it's his birthday, but it's like his day he came to Earth or whatever is his birthday or whatever. You missed a lot of stuff. Yeah, and then they show up. Um, that's funny. You missed quite a bit. You need to start getting there a little earlier, there, Captain. You're missing your
Well, I mean,
movie,
I
man.
saw it during the day, but it was just as everyone's off. It was a kids' movie.
Yeah,
The whole theater was basically sold out. I just got lucky that there was still two more seats in the theater that weren't bad spots.
yeah. New Year's was busy. New Year's was definitely busy. There's things to see. Um, yeah. So yeah, I mean, so I think they did a pretty good job with Shadow, and um, it's kind of the same sort of storyline they did with Knuckles, where he just kind of slowly turns. He's like, "You guys aren't bad guys" or whatever. But I mean, I don't know how you do it differently, but um,
Did
you know,
you stay for the end credit?
yeah, I talked to Dad before this movie, because they tease another Sonic character at the end of the first two movies, and they teased Shadow at the end of the second one. I was like, I before we went to this movie, I was like, Dad, I bet you anything the tease is gonna be the pink girl one,
Mm-hmm.
and that's exactly what happened. And Dad's
Yeah.
like, I don't know what that means. It's like, yeah, I know.
Well, that's a great tease because Amy's awesome.
Uh,
So
I first of all, I didn't know what her name was. I was just the pink girl one. I'm not that. I am really not that versed in Sonic lore. So, uh,
honestly, I'm not either, but I had one Game Boy Advance game that I
hmm
played a bunch,
hmm
and they all had their different abilities, and she had like the hammer and stuff.
hmm
So I
hmm
just remember playing as her a lot, but
yeah.
I don't really know. I think I did watch a show as well, but I don't even really recall that too much.
So, like I said, I'm not very well versed in Sonic lore, so I'm not sure who the next villain is because clearly Jim Carrey's done. Jim Carrey said he was going to retire after the first Sonic, and then Sonic did so well, so they made two more. So I'm assuming he's back to I'm going to retire, man. So
I think
um,
he's more of like if there's a good script that comes his way,
yeah,
he'll do it.
but I think he's done. I mean, they had a whole thing with him in this movie. It was pretty much a send off for Jim Carrey, period. So
Yeah. I don't know if the movie works without Jim Carrey, to be honest. So
yeah, I think that's what really worked with the first one, and then this. I mean, he's very funny. I don't know who the next villain is or whatever. I don't know the Sonic villains. So I've seen the robot Sonics or whatever before. That was another thing in the end credits thing, but I don't. I'm I'm not sure what the lead up would be. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Um, and also I don't know if I want another Sonic movie. I think I
I
think
mean,
I think
I
I've
didn't
gotten my
want
fill.
this movie, and it was good. So if they can keep up the same standard, I'm okay with it. But if we go back to Sonic 2, I mean, I'm back to I don't want anymore.
Yeah, I think I've got my fill, and I wasn't even hungry in the first place. So,
Yeah.
I liked it though. I have to say I liked it. It's definitely in the top half of my movies for the year. So, in the teens. Um,
I don't know.
but
I probably like this is probably my favorite kids movie of the year. This was better than Moana. It's better than Inside Out, in my opinion.
yeah, I don't think so. But I mean, I liked like the Wild Robot and stuff like that more than this. But
I
um,
would probably put Wild Robot like right after this one.
yeah, I mean, I there were- I don't know if I said, but I'm giving it a 7.5.
Hmm.
It's good. So uh, the thing that made me laugh the hardest, because I just thought it was so stupid, was when Grandpa Robotnik dies. I don't know why
Oh,
that got me, but it got me, and I was like, "That is so dumb," and I
okay.
truly
I
laughed
mean,
at
I
that.
like them dancing,
That's really
through the
dumb.
lasers.
That is really dumb. It's just so ridiculous.
It really was, but I don't know. It didn't bother me for some reason. I just thought it was hilarious.
I wonder if they CGI'd him as the old person doing it twice, or he got into the makeup and did the dance again.
There was definitely different people because when they were doing like some serious dance moves there, it was not him. There's just
No,
no
I'm
way.
saying, my question is it CGI and then he like kind of halfway did the moves, or is it CGI his head onto bodies? Like I don't know how it works.
That's what I would think. Something
That's pretty funny
some
though.
just some camera trickery to make it a real person though.
I don't know. For some reason, with Grandpa Robotnik going flying and then it's like a bug zapper or something. I don't know. That
Yeah.
worked for made me laugh. It's really stupid. I was like, that is so dumb. I just laughed for a while. But I genuinely
Yeah.
laughed at a few of the things in the movie. I did think it was funny. Um, yeah, I thought the movie was good. Um, and when they're at the little like cafe in Japan or whatever, and the girls come over, they're like, "Are you Pokemon?" I thought that was pretty funny because it
Mm.
do kind of look like Pokemon.
He's like, "Are you Detective Pikachu?" I think
Yeah,
is one of
Detective
his names.
Pikachu. Yes, Detective
Yeah,
Pikachu. That's
it's like
funny.
nobody even knows Detective Pikachu. What are you talking about?
I think it is popular in Japan. I don't think it was really an American thing.
Oh,
I
I
think it was
guess in
popular in
Japan.
Japan.
That's
Yeah,
true. They're in Japan.
that was pretty funny. There was some good stuff in the movie. Um, yeah, and I thought the story was pretty decent. It didn't dwell on anything stupid for too long or have whole set, whole narrative pieces that were stupid, like the wedding of the sister and stuff, like the second one. Um, I thought the action was pretty good. Um, yeah, trying to think if I'm missing anything. I like the little, relationship with Jim Carrey and his man assistant. I think is funny.
Well, if he didn't dislike anything, why is it at a 7.5? What makes it a seven
I,
and a half?
I just there's well, first of all, I don't think anything is like particularly great acting in it. I thought the CGI was fine, but there's like I enjoyed the movie, but I wasn't like. I think a really good movie is a movie that you just watch and you're like fully invested in it. This whole time I know I'm watching a movie and it's just like, I'm like I'm I'm fine
Okay.
with it, but there's no sparks of like I'm going to remember that for a long time. Like there's nothing in this movie that I'm going to be like
Well,
that's going to
they will
stick
never be
with me.
a comedy movie that's gonna ever be that, or you're that invested. I don't
Well,
see.
but I also there's also most of there's not a lot of jokes. There's no iconic comedic scene in this movie that I'll remember for a long time either. I mean, like I like Austin Powers because I like that. Like I like a lot. There's a lot of funny stuff that I remember for a long time.
I
There's
don't know.
you know
I remember Jim Carrey dancing. So
I didn't remember that until you brought that up. So, I mean, it was funny, but I it's also has Jim Carrey with a fat belly, and then he's squirting crap onto his burrito, and it sounds like farts. Like there's that.
yeah,
It's there.
yeah, that's for the kids. Yeah.
A couple things take it down a couple notches. It's still a good movie, but I mean, there's these movies. I'm not like, wow, I just really enjoy those movies. It's like, yeah, those movies are good or fine,
So
or
maybe if you were
over.
like more of a Sonic fan, you might be up more because
Oh, if I was a
he,
Sonic fan, if I actually liked Sonic, this would be high for
uh,
sure. But I'm not
because
really
like
a
the
Sonic fan.
Shadow story and the girl, like that's straight from the games. That's like his backstory. They didn't like make that
Oh,
up for this
I didn't
movie.
know that. But I like
Yeah.
that story. That's good. But actually, if anything, that tracks because then I just know they're just ripping it from something else. It's not. I thought it was made up for the movie. You know.
No, that just
So
means like there's a reason why Sonic's getting movies in the first place because there was tons of fans of what was already there. That's
yeah, I'm trying to think of a
what
video game. If they made a movie and it was a good movie, it would be like high. There's not like I'm not like you know, you know, if they made like a really good Perfect Dark movie or something. I don't know. Uh, game that I really liked as a kid. You know, if they made a
mhm.
actually really good Mario movie. Um,
No, well, they're not capable of that, so you don't have to
yeah.
worry about that one.
Um, you know, Fallout's good. Fallout TV show's good. I'd give that a higher rating because they do a good job of doing Fallout
Yeah,
stuff. Yeah,
yeah, I guess I
I
see
don't
it
know.
while you're there. Yeah, I thought this is pretty much exactly what I would want from. I thought this was actually more than what I wanted. The Jim Carrey aspect is just
Yeah,
it can be
I
too
mean,
much, but it's
if
perfect.
it's no, if there's no Jim Carrey in it, this movie is
I
not that
think
great.
it probably
It's
will
fine.
be not as good as this one, but if they still keep the same kind of tempo and jokes, I still think it'll be good. I don't think it'll be as good as this one.
Yeah, I'll see. We'll see how if they do another one, how it will do without Jim Carrey. But I suspect it will not be that great. Also, if you do one without Jim Carrey, make sure it is a tight hour and a half. Do not need to make it long. You should make it nice and tight because you shouldn't be waiting for him to do more improv comedic stuff. Unless you got another strong comedic actor,
Yeah,
but
that's what I was gonna say. I think they should just get someone else who's good.
yeah, we'll see. I don't know. But yeah, like I said, I'm full, but I'm not a big Sonic fan or anything. But I don't think there's enough big Sonic fans to maintain a long running franchise. But you know, who am I?
I mean, I'd say 3 movies is pretty good, but
3 movies are good, and that should be enough. Um,
I think
but
they can make more. I think for the next movie, they should just straight up leave Earth because it's boring. Get rid of the human characters. You now will have 4 main characters, and just make the movie about them dealing with whatever. You know, the villain doesn't have to be a
yeah,
human. It can be, you know, whatever. I don't know Sonic well enough to name a villain out, but I'm sure they
exactly.
got
I don't
some.
think that would do as well if they just did not. You know, I they feel like the parents are just go, ugh, this is whatever. But
I still think it can be
um,
funny, and it would appeal to the fans, which is who you should be trying to appeal to, not to randos, anyways. So
I don't know. I think just having fans might not be enough to make money. But I don't know. I don't know. Whatever. So cool. I mean I think I've said everything that I could think of,
all
especially
right,
about the
well
Sonic franchise in general.
that wraps up our episode. We'll see you guys on the next one. Until then.
This has been the Daniel and Andrew Show.